This succulent variety of begonia is called Begonia venosa, and it is probably one of my favorite begonias, but I have a tendency to really like the succulent begonias, and this one would classify as a much more succulent begonia that is actually native to Brazil. When I saw this growing in a botanic garden, I was just like, oh my God, what is that plant? And I wouldn't say that I'm a total begonia lover, but I have to say that the succulent varieties are just so cool. So I actually got this as a small cutting, and you can see that it's quite large now. And what's really cool about it too is that it is flowering. It has some old flowers and also has some of these new flowers here, which is basically how you could tell a begonia from one another, or any plant within a specific genus is often morphologically classified by their flowers. Now, I actually had two cuttings of this plant, and I had one growing in a northeast window, and I have this one which is growing in a southwest window. I have to say the northeast window one did not survive. This southwest one has grown like gangbusters. So I would say give this plant full light condition. It's pretty good. You don't have to water it so much. I mean, I water this maybe once a week at the most. In the winter, I actually stop watering it, so it's more like once every 2 weeks because it's not really growing. And if you can actually see here, it's out of focus, but you can see that there's some little offsets down at the base right there. And that's actually a great way to actually propagate this plant, or you could actually propagate it through leaf cuttings. Begonias actually propagate very well by leaf cuttings, and I have more of that on the YouTube channel for begonia propagation. I have several videos up there, so you could actually click on one of those if you're a little bit more curious about that. As far as humidity goes, this plant is not used to being in very humid conditions, so you could have very low to moderate humidity. And as far as fertilizing goes, I would do it much in the same way that I do other begonias, which is like either a well-balanced fertilizer or maybe a 10-20-10. You could probably get away even with a cacti or succulent fertilizer for this one, to be honest with you. And doing that on a monthly basis during the growing season, like spring, summer, and fall, will be totally adequate. But if you like a succulent plant and you want a little bit something that's a little bit more foliage variety, then I would say that this begonia is totally a way to go if you could get your hands on one. Because like I said, these came as cuttings from a botanic garden for me. So I've only seen them once in a garden center or nursery, so you can't come by them all that often, except maybe if you're in Europe, because I have seen them out there. So sometimes when you're from a different country, you get better access to these particular plants. But yeah, otherwise, this is a beautiful one. I'm glad I could share this with you, and hopefully expands your idea of what begonias could look like.